So let's begin today's webinar. First, I would like to introduce our speakers. We have Ellen Riley, who's the Vice President of Healthcare and Life Sciences here at DocuSign. She focuses on driving adoption for our new and existing customers, and she spent over 30 years in leadership roles in the life science industry and is passionate, as many of us here at DocuSign are, about driving paper out of organizations. That's me there on the right, Jennifer Royer. I'm a senior manager in our industry product marketing group, and I lead industry marketing for life sciences and healthcare in particular, managing our industry product launches, partnerships, and conferences. And prior to DocuSign, I advised life science organizations on their go-to-market strategy and competitive analysis and worked for a handful of early-stage startups. So let's give you a little preview of what we'll cover today. First, we'll be focusing on digital trends and why digital really matters to life science organizations. I'll then turn things over to Ellen, who will talk through the top 10 life science use cases to really help you get started on your digital transformation. And then we'll conclude with some hot topics in compliance and security, very near and dear to this industry for sure, and then give you some best practices for adopting and scaling a digital solution. Diving right in, let's begin with a bold statement, which is that we here at DocuSign believe that all successful businesses will be 100% digital. We believe this in part from what we've seen in our customer base, but also from some very credible research. So for example, a recent survey conducted by Deloitte looked at the most digitally mature companies in the world and found that these digitally savvy companies enjoyed 13% more revenue, they're 50% more profitable, and have a 19% higher market valuation. So some very real and impressive statistics around the importance of digital. And in addition, 92% of executives agree that digital technology will be important 3 years from now. So that's nearly everyone. Now, beyond the hard numbers, some of the other benefits of digital are around customer experience, return on investment, and security and compliance. Customer experience is very near and dear to most people's hearts. According to the same survey that I cited in the last slide, it was important to improve customer experience, and that was a primary reason why companies were investing in digital, was really that digital delight and helping to differentiate your company through a digital platform. Return on investment, this is really about being able to realize revenue faster while also decreasing costs. So you see benefits to both the top and bottom line of your organization. And finally, security and compliance is really optimized in a digital world. You're able to see when people view, sign, complete a document with a full audit trail, and that really gives you a lot of confidence and helps you hopefully sleep better at night. But people aren't fully digital yet. Things are broken and disconnected. And so what we're seeing in a lot of our customers and prospects is that you have invested in a lot of different systems. It could be CRM or ERP or other digital systems where you're running your business and trying to connect people to each other, connect systems to each other, but often at the moment of truth, when you really need to complete a contract or get a signature, things are breaking down, systems are disconnected, and you revert to printing, scanning, faxing, overnighting, and that is time-consuming and costly. So what you may not realize is that the costs and the consequences of business as usual and failing to change and having to deal with these hassles results in slow decision-making, unhappy customers, and competitive threats. Think of what happened with Blockbuster versus Netflix. You don't want to be Blockbuster. Now, there is a better way, and that is DocuSign. So we help you connect systems to each other. We help you connect that ecosystem that you're dealing with patients, healthcare providers, sites, and labs where you're running your trials, partners, employees, and suppliers, the whole gamut. We're able to work with the systems that you have and help you operate in a truly digital world, keeping your transactions 100% digital and eliminating paper from all of these processes. And why does this really matter for life science organizations like you? Well, for these reasons. One is around the development cycle. We know that today this is often taking a decade or more, and a lot of that is due to the administrative hassles and burdens in, say, getting a protocol document signed around the world. And if you're doing that in paper and say there's an error and you have to correct that, that could take days, weeks, maybe even months just to get that completed. And that is critical time that you should be using to be developing your treatments and getting them to market sooner, helping you to serve that patient population that you care about. Also, the patient care model is evolving. We live in a world where everyone expects to be doing business digitally and on mobile devices. And so being able to connect that ecosystem from your employees to the patients that you're reaching, it's really a digital-first expectation to provide the highest standard of care and connect these entities to each other, and digital helps you do that. And then, of course, I spoke earlier about compliance and security and the difference in being able to have that traceability, that visibility with an audit trail and seeing the steps of a process and when things are completed. So you're able to meet identity and authentication requirements and comply with regulations in a better way with digital. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what DocuSign does. DocuSign is the fastest, most secure way to make every decision and approval digital so you can keep life and business moving forward. And let's just pause a moment to bring this to life a little bit more for you. And Ellen will go into more detail around this later when we get into the top use cases. But for instance, Amplifone on the left, they make hearing aids, and they're using DocuSign for some of the most common use cases, sales contracts and HR forms. So imagine a world where you receive an offer letter and you complete that from your iPhone. That's what they're doing. That's what DocuSign is enabling them to do, or closing a sales contract and having that end up right back in your CRM system or whatever system you're using. No paper, no scanning, printing, faxing. It's completely digital with DocuSign. And then just to dive a little bit deeper around what is powering these processes, the capabilities that we have here that enable our customers to achieve these results is more than just collecting legally binding signatures. DocuSign is designed to help customers prepare, execute, and manage the agreement process in a fully digital way end-to-end, and it's built on top of the world's most available, secure, and global platform. So for instance, when it comes to preparing documents, we can connect to the systems that you're using today, virtually any file type, pull in information, pre-populate data, and we allow you to choose from a variety of authentication means to verify that someone is who they actually say they are. You can even collect payment after you get someone's signature. And then once that process is complete in the management phase, you have full visibility into the status of your agreements with our out-of-the-box reporting, and you can save your documents securely on the DocuSign cloud or transfer them to your own systems to comply with company policies. And again, this is all sitting on top of our trust platform, industry-leading security, always-on availability, configured to meet your needs, and allowing you to do business globally in the way that you work. So we spoke a little bit about DocuSign and what we do, but what is the difference with DocuSign and why are customers choosing us? It's around these three areas of choice, experience, and trust. Choice is that we work with the applications, services, and devices that you already use. Experience, DocuSign is simple to learn and use, transforming the way that customers do business with you. And trust, we're the most reliable and globally trusted service for digital transactions. Now, I'll take a moment to go into these with a little more detail. Choice is really around DocuSign working the way that you do. We plug into systems you're already using, for instance, Salesforce, SAP, Microsoft, or if we don't have a pre-built integration, we can still use our REST and SOAP APIs to work with whatever you have installed already. Now, we know many of you are global businesses. That's great. We're a global company and available in 43 languages around the world on any mobile device. So this really gives you a lot of flexibility in how you deploy DocuSign. Now, experience is really around three key areas. One is just the ease with which you could use the product. So you can get up and running in minutes, depending on your use case. It's really fast and simple to learn. And you really have this digital delight from folks who are using it. And that's everyone from your employees to your end customers. And that may be patients or partners or suppliers. And so it really helps you differentiate as a company to have this experience. And then there's also the experience in working with DocuSign. We are a trusted advisor. We've worked with over 100,000 paying customers, so from a range of industries, companies of all shapes and sizes, regulated and unregulated use cases. We've seen it all. Maybe not everything, but we've seen a lot. And so we can help you through your digital journey. And then, of course, trust. We hold trust and your trust very near and dear to our hearts. We have over 50 million users and 50,000 new users joining the DocuSign Global Trust Network every day. And we really pride ourselves on having the industry's strongest encryption practices, leading security and availability. We are always working, zero downtime, and that full digital audit trail so you can really see what's completed and when, and rest easy knowing where things are. And now all of this is backed by the XDTM standard. So we have created this standard and are managing it with a board of CISOs and CIOs from the world's leading organizations like HP, FedEx, the Stanford School of Medicine are just some members of that board. And the standard details specific and measurable thresholds for security, availability, and privacy to ensure that you, our customers, are confident doing business in a digital world. And as a result of choosing DocuSign, our customers are seeing unprecedented value. And it's along these three key areas that we profiled for the benefits of digital overall: customer experience, that digital delight, and the customer satisfaction scores that you'll see as a result. On average, 127% improvement in customer satisfaction after investing in DocuSign. Return on investment, this is saving that precious time and money so that you can focus on what you really care about, which is bringing treatments to market sooner, running your sites more efficiently, spending more time on research and development. And then security and compliance, of course, things like Part 11 are crucial to this industry, protecting your data. Ellen will go into a little bit more detail later when we get to compliance, but like I said earlier, we take your trust very seriously, and we've made a lot of investments to encrypt your data and ensure the highest standards of security. Now, just going into a little more detail on the ROI aspect of this, these are averages for the life science industry up top. So we're helping you get things right the first time by eliminating errors, about 90% reduction in errors when you're doing things in a digital world. And when we think about launching drugs and devices sooner, on average, in our customer base today, we're seeing about 3 weeks, 21 days of time savings. And so every day matters, and that is a pretty significant time improvement. Now, on average, we're also having folks save $38 per document, which is actually about 1.5 times greater than our average savings across other industries at DocuSign, which really showcases the value in this industry in particular. And if you multiply out, think of all the places where you're still using paper or manual processes today, certainly adds up to a lot of money saved from DocuSign. Now, before I hand things off to Ellen, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about how we here at DocuSign have invested more in life sciences in particular over the past year. And one is this first area around focus, and we have, to that end, hired industry experts, including a life science practice manager and dedicated sales reps with FDA domain expertise. We also have held 3 customer advisory boards to date. The next one will be happening in September, and these are sessions where we gather executives from leading life science and healthcare organizations, get their input on our product, and really use their feedback to help us become a better partner and a better technology provider to meet their needs. Now, we've also continued to innovate and invest more in our product. So we recently acquired ARX and the CoSign Central solution, which adds additional options for you in the way that you're deploying our technology and digital signatures. The CoSign Central solution has been used in over 10,000 successfully FDA-audited Part 11 production systems, and CoSign is the largest supplier of digital signatures in life sciences. And then our own product that we've been working on over the year in DocuSign for life sciences, Ellen will go into more details later, but this is really around having the capabilities for Part 11 compliance. And then in addition, we have extended into our partner ecosystem. We have a long-standing partnership with USDM Life Sciences that we've really doubled down on, and they're helping our customers validate their Part 11 regulated use case instances with DocuSign. We also have a lot of pre-built integrations with Salesforce, Microsoft, Viva, Revitas, and you're able to use the Safe Biopharma digital certificate in your transactions with DocuSign as well. So these are just some of the areas where we've invested more in the past year. We'll only continue to do more to improve our product and improve the customer experience. And with that, I'd like to pause, get a little audience engagement here. So I'm going to open this poll, and you'll be able to provide input. But we'd like to ask you, given that we've just talked about the importance of digital, wondering which of these best describe the extent to which your organization is using digital technologies in your daily operations. So you can pick one of those 5 answers, and I'll give folks a couple moments to weigh in. All right, let's see what we've got. So it looks like we've got a few who are fully paper-based. A lot of folks are saying around 75%, but kind of across the spectrum. So there is still room for improvement, which is great news. And with that in mind, I will hand things over to Ellen, who will talk about the top 10 use cases, and then I'll help you get started or keep going on your digital journey today.
So thanks, Jennifer. When I started, everything was paper and pen. So hopefully we will see before I retire that everything is fully digital. So in working with some of our customers, we've collected use cases and best practices, and you're all sitting there going, you know, how do I move forward in this journey? And some of you have experienced, you know, the ways to best move forward in your digital roadmap is to find champions internally that are change management champions, because this is around changing your business processes, connecting disparate systems, eliminating paper, people willing to leave go of the past to move forward. Look for volume of paper. That will help you provide the biggest ROI so that you can fund more use cases. Look for things that will change the way you integrate or interact with your customer, because there's nothing like delighting your customer with the experience of using DocuSign and how easy it is to do business. So, organizations turn to DocuSign not only to solve their paper problem, but as Jen mentioned, to really bring together disjointed processes and connect the upstream and the downstream processes so it does not break and we're not printing out paper, faxing, or FedExing, or overnighting. So we've mapped over 180 use cases in life sciences, but today we're not going to spend the time to do all 180, but we're going to talk to you about some of the top 10 use cases that our customers have been implementing DocuSign and our various product capabilities. So I'll jump into that. So the first one, patient consent form. So organizations such as Cedars-Sinai and others use DocuSign to really onboard patients and get consent for product use, whether that's for clinical trials or for a commercial product. And this really improves the patient interaction. As you can see in this picture, being able to interact and share information with the patient and getting them to adopt and say, I want to be treated. It also supports compliance requirements and HIPAA requirements. The second use case I want to share is clinical trial onboarding. Everybody competes for access to patients and enrolling people in trials, and that's the biggest challenge of the product development life cycle, is to onboard clinical sites, investigators, and clinical research organizations quickly so that you can move through the development process and collect the data to substantiate the regulatory submissions and filing of getting drugs approved. And there's tons of paperwork, as you can imagine, around this process, whether it's study site information, financial information, training of site investigators, getting signed protocols, sponsor agreements, 1572 forms. And there's a huge opportunity here to use DocuSign and integrate with your current back-end systems or adopt new systems to really bring together all the documentation needed to support the ongoing setup of a trial and the ongoing monitoring of all the documents that are collected through the process. And using DocuSign, clients have seen over $42 of saving per document in using our technology integrated with other technologies such as NextDocs and Documentum and OpenText and Veeva Vault. And also the ability to use a digital certificate technology such as Safe BioPharm. The third area is similar as in the clinical monitoring and trip reports. So part of the clinical documentation process for clinical trials, you need to manage all the findings that a CRA collects when they go out to visit sites. And typically these reports need to be managed and supplied within 10 days of the visit. So the volume of data that has to be collected and moved through the process quickly so that it can support all the audit materials is absolutely key to making a trial run effectively and operationally. So with our technology, CRAs can immediately sign documents in their native formats, whether they're using Excel or Word or a EMTS system, and then use our technology to sign and process the workflow of those monitoring reports. And clients such as PPD, which is a top CRO, have digitized over 40,000 site reports a year and have gotten return of their investment in over 3 months. So this is a great opportunity to use technology to collect all that data in the field and really enable your CRAs. Another use case is labeling changes. Organizations have to manage labeling changes in several steps. You've got the original process when you're moving from clinical trials to commercialization. You have the internal workflows of getting labeling information approved, working with regulatory agencies, outside collaboration of partners that you may have been partnering with on a product, or different using advertising agencies or other organizations to print your labels. Then there's the ongoing process when you have a commercial product and you make changes to that product, and you need to notify healthcare providers or any of your partners or wholesalers the changes of the content of the label and the product insert. This is a great opportunity to use DocuSign and the transparency of information and workflow. Another area we see clients using our technology is around the speaker and honorarium process and managing those programs. And many of you may use Microsoft Dynamics or Salesforce or Viva, IREP to really be your Salesforce and customer management systems. But they have the complication of managing all the speaker information, integrating to your back-end marketing systems, your closed-loop marketing systems, your meeting management systems. There's a need for DocuSign to help bring that together, whether it's offline signing or it's allowing somebody to register for an event remotely. The ability to support all this information will help you improve your interaction with healthcare providers and participating in the speaker programs, getting paid quicker, and ensure compliance with the Sunshine Act. The next case study and use case that our medical device customers talk about are field service reports. And in the medical device industry, remote field service employees need to create and sign reports for maintenance as well as inventory management or managing trunk stock. And Priority Mail is an expensive way to manage that information. Using DocuSign, you can eliminate the costly services, better manage the workflow of the process, and ensure that you get sign-offs in person or remotely. And once again, you can use the offline signing capability. We support notarization or other handwritten signatures on a mobile device. In fact, one of our clients manages over 20,000 field service reports annually and sustains any type of FDA audit. Another area that DocuSign fills is around the patient assistance programs and telesampling. So as part of organizations, goodwill is absolutely key to supply product at little to no cost to patients. And organizations want to manage this process so it doesn't cost a lot. And they also want to provide a good customer experience to anybody who's receiving products for the company. And we have customers that measured over $16 in savings into this process and improvement in turnaround time in getting that free drug or low-cost drug or devices out to patients. And this integration, people are using DocuSign integrated to call center solutions such as ServiceNow or Salesforce, and allowing that self-service transaction and eliminating faxing and paperwork to move the product into the hands of patients quicker. Another area we see clients using us is around sales and service agreements, and that's around your GPO and your managed care contracts. It could be service contracts in the medical space, integrated delivery network contracts, and on average, this is a huge opportunity for companies to save over $60 in savings. And we integrate with standard technologies in the market, SAP CLM, Revitas. You can integrate with Apttus and Salesforce. And it really allows you the visibility that Jen talked about, where you can see the status of the transaction. Has the signer opened the contract? What's holding off the process? Gives you an opportunity for transparency to see where the contract is in the life cycle when it goes out to your customers. This vendor contract is where we find most organizations start their digital journey. It's in the procurement area, and because of the amount of documentation around statements of work, master services agreements, vendor onboarding documents, the Sunshine Act has added additional compliance requirements to onboard vendors to a company. And people are looking for ways to streamline this and integrate to their back-end procurement systems such as Ariba and Taurus and Oracle and other technologies. And we see top 10 pharmaceutical companies, this has been their starting use cases in the procurement area. In fact, Dave Smoley on this quote talked about how they simplified and really took the documentation process and turned around in less than a day. And some people find this in less than an hour. And this is really, if you're looking for a starting use case, this may be what can help you get the company to adopt digital and get your procurement team involved. Lastly, as Jen mentioned, about doing business on your phone. And as more organizations try to attract the best talent in the marketplace, especially, up-and-coming pharmaceutical or med device companies are looking to attract millennials and new employees to their growing businesses. And the ability to change that integration and make it so the experience is delighted and high tech, and the ability to onboard and accept a job on your phone or your iPad really is a good starting point to onboarding an employee. And the amount of priority mail that goes out to send offer letters and I-9 forms and 401k documentation can be eliminated by using DocuSign and integrating it to a SharePoint portal or to Workday or SuccessFactors or any other HR onboarding system, and then eliminating the need to have priority mail and investing in those costs to return all that documentation. And the change in the customer status, the employee satisfaction of a new employee coming on board, doing everything digitally. They can use their phone to take pictures of their passport for I-9 documentation. So there's all sorts of ways to integrate and reduce the burden onto your HR shared services operations group. So they are the top 10 use cases that we have heard from our customers that are using DocuSign. As I said, there's over 180 use cases that we'd be happy to share with you as you try to lay out your digital roadmap. Through all of these use cases and the many others that we've collected, there's requirements for compliance. And as Jen shared, we understand the need to manage safe harbor or employee data as you're a global customer, Sarbanes-Oxley and financial data, patient protection around HIPAA data, and then Part 11 for anything that touches your regulatory process about collecting information around a product. And so we do have product options to support those needs. We do have a Part 11 product, DocuSign for Life Sciences. We have third-party signature cloud capabilities, so we support Open Trust and Safe Biopharma digital certificates. And we also have locally managed digital certificates with our GoSign product. So lastly, to wrap up, really they're best practices, because this is a change management project. This is about eliminating paper. It's getting people to adopt new ways of doing business, whether it's internally or externally with new employees or partners or suppliers. So remember to find those people, those champions. Remember to look for high volume of paper to be able to fund these investments. Measure. Always try to measure how long the process currently takes and the costs, and then measure what it looks like after you've put in DocuSign or integrated it to other back-end systems. And experiment. As you may automate your process as it is, and then you may look and say, we can do things better, and continuous improvement. And with that, I will wrap it up. I wish you the best on your digital journey. DocuSign is a wonderful technology to help you get to the 100% everything is digital roadmap. So with that, I think we'll take some questions.
Yep. Thank you so much, Ellen. So we'll now take a few questions from the audience, and as a reminder, you may submit questions through the Q&A function located in the lower right side of your console, and you can just type in the question and then hit send. So first question that we have here is how long does it take to set up DocuSign, and what kind of training do you provide for new DocuSign customers?
So, if you're a starting biotech organization, you could be up and running in a day. We've had clients that have used our product. They're up and running, managing and processing workflow and, electronic signature capability. We've had other enterprise customers that have gotten different forms or processes up in 3 days. If you're going to integrate to back-end systems such as Ariba, or it's going to be integrated to a regulatory system, it may take longer. If it needs to be validated, it depends on your internal process of how you do validation and, move through the quality process.
Great. All right, another question is what capabilities exist for integrating DocuSign into other solutions that we have, like eClinical portals?
So we have SOAP and REST APIs, as Jen, I think you mentioned early in the presentation. We have customers that are using either DocuSign or our coSign signature, integrating to SharePoint and NextDocs to really be forward-facing portals for clinical trial onboarding.
Great. So we have a question specifically around Office 365. The question is, does DocuSign work with Office 365? Would that be coSign Central or the DocuSign product?
So we actually were Microsoft's Partner of the Year last year. We integrate with Office 365. It's a plugin. You never leave the Office 365 product. We also integrate with the SharePoint product, and that is the DocuSign product.
Great. All right, looks like we've got one more here, which is what other life science customers does DocuSign have, and how are they using DocuSign?
So we have 14 of the top 15 pharmaceutical companies. We have 11 of the top 15 medical device companies. We have 9 of the top 10 CRO companies. And as I said, there's over 180 some use cases that we have collected from our clients of how they use DocuSign and how they're planning to use DocuSign. So beyond these 10 use cases that I shared, we're never surprised. Our clients have come up with ways we'd never thought they would use our product.
All right. See, another one just came in here. So we'll take this last one, and then I think we'll be out of time. So the last question is, if I receive a document for signing in DocuSign but require changes before I will sign it, can I provide my comments through the system?
So yes, there are ways to set up different workflows, and you can reject. You can do all sorts of contingency signing. We are not a document management system, so it's not a tool that you would use for authoring, similar to a Documentum or a OpenText or NextDocs. But it does have some ability to annotate and reject and manage comments on documents.
All right. Well, that is all the time we have for questions. For those of you with additional questions that we haven't addressed, please email them to webinar@docusign.com, and we'll follow up with you after today's webinar. So I'd like to again say thank you to Ellen Riley and to each of you for attending today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.